Katharine Hepburn, born May 12, 1907 in Hartford, Connecticut, remains one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, celebrated not only for her extraordinary talent, but also for her fierce independence. Growing up in a progressive household shaped by her father's advocacy in medicine and her mother's leadership in the women's suffrage movement, Hepburn developed a sense of personal autonomy and social responsibility that would guide both her career and private life. She carved her own path in an industry that often demanded conformity, insisting on individuality, intelligence, and emotional honesty in every role. Her life, however, was far from defined solely by fame and accolades. Behind her sharp wit, commanding presence, and record-breaking 4 Academy Awards lay a complex personal journey filled with passionate relationships, secret romances, and private struggles, revealing a woman as determined and unconventional in life as she was on screen. Early life and formative years, Hepburn's upbringing fostered the qualities that would define her career. Her father, Dr. Thomas Hepburn, was a pioneering urologist, while her mother, Catherine Martha Houghton Hepburn, was a dedicated suffragist. This intellectual and socially conscious environment encouraged Catherine to question authority, embrace independence, and cultivate a deep sense of self-reliance. Attending Bryn Mawr College, where she studied history and philosophy, she developed analytical skills, intellectual rigor, and a confidence that later manifested in her acting choices. Early experiences in theatre exposed her to both encouragement and rejection, as her outspoken nature often clashed with traditional expectations of female performers. Yet these formative struggles reinforced her resilience. She began to recognize the importance of authenticity over popularity, a lesson that became central to her life and work. Hepburn's early years laid the groundwork for a career defined by fearless choices and a steadfast commitment to self-expression. Breaking into Hollywood, Hepburn's professional breakthrough came in 1932 with her role in A Bill of Divorcement opposite John Barrymore. Her angular beauty, athletic grace, and commanding presence stood out in contrast to the demure actresses of the era. The early 1930s were a time of experimentation and struggle for Hepburn, as she faced both acclaim and the challenges of fluctuating popularity. Films like Morning Glory, 1933, brought her first Academy Award, cementing her status as a rising star, while others, including Little Women and Alice Adams, showcased her versatility. Despite early successes, she experienced professional setbacks, including being labeled box office poison in the late 1930s. Rather than retreat, Hepburn asserted control over her career by acquiring rights to the Philadelphia story, ensuring she starred in the lead role. This strategic move reflected her determination to shape her professional path and showcased her unique talent for intelligent, strong-willed female characters that defied Hollywood conventions. Career triumphs and versatility. Hepburn's filmography demonstrates remarkable range, encompassing screwball comedies, romantic leads, and profound dramas. She excelled in Bringing Up Baby, 1938, and The Philadelphia Story, 1940, highlighting her comedic timing and charm, while roles in The African Queen, 1951, and Long Day's Journey into Night, 1962, revealed emotional depth and dramatic intensity. Her collaboration with Spencer Tracy produced 9 celebrated films, forming one of cinema's most legendary partnerships. Hepburn's later years brought further recognition with Academy Awards for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, 1967, The Lion in Winter, 1968, and On Golden Pond, 1981, proving her enduring relevance. Each role showcased her intelligence, wit, and command of character, reinforcing her status as a trailblazer in Hollywood. Hepburn's career was defined not by conformity but by fearless choices, challenging industry norms while crafting a legacy of artistry, resilience, and uncompromising individuality. Personal life and first marriage. Hepburn's personal life was intertwined with her ambition and independence. She married Lello Ogden Smith in 1928, a socially polished and wealthy man who offered stability and conventional security. Yet, Hepburn's restless nature and devotion to her career created distance in the marriage. She resisted traditional domestic roles, demonstrating a desire for autonomy even in symbolic acts, such as reversing Smith's name so she would not become Kate Smith. Early romantic involvement with her agent, Leland Hayward, overlapped with her marriage, illustrating her prioritization of emotional and professional compatibility over convention. Hepburn's eventual divorce from Smith in 1934, obtained discreetly in Yucatan, reflected her refusal to conform and her unwavering focus on artistic independence. Despite the dissolution, she maintained respect and friendship with Smith, highlighting her capacity for reflection, gratitude, and honesty even in complex personal matters. High-profile relationships and independence. Hepburn's relationships often mirrored her professional ambitions, reflecting a balance of personal affection and autonomy. After relocating to Hollywood, she began an affair with Leland Hayward, marked by emotional depth but ultimately constrained by Hepburn's desire for independence. She also had a notable relationship with Howard Hughes, an eccentric entrepreneur whose brilliance and idiosyncrasies both fascinated and frustrated her. These relationships were influenced by the pressures of career, fame, and societal expectations. Hepburn's refusal to marry Hughes, despite his proposal, reflected her steadfast belief in self-reliance and control over her own life. Each relationship underscored a recurring theme in her life: the prioritization of artistic and personal autonomy over conventional domestic security, demonstrating her consistent refusal to compromise her identity for societal norms or romantic attachment. Rumored relationships with women beyond her well-known partnerships. Hepburn's personal life included rumored romantic entanglements with women. Biographers and insiders suggest she secretly dated 7 women over the years, relationships characterized by emotional intensity, secrecy, and eventual estrangement. Figures such as Tallulah Bankhead, Barbara Stanwyck, Greta Garbo, Joan Crawford, Mercedes D'Acosta, Judy Holliday, and Dorothy Arzner were reportedly involved in complex emotional dynamics with Hepburn. While unconfirmed, these relationships reveal a private side of Hepburn's life, reflecting her struggle to reconcile intimacy with the demands of a public career. Some ended in perceived betrayal or emotional disappointment, prompting Hepburn to distance herself. These stories, whether factual or speculative, highlight her nuanced understanding of love, trust, and autonomy, and underscore her insistence on protecting both her personal integrity and her professional identity in an era when deviation from societal expectations was often harshly judged. Later, life and philosophical reflections. In her later years, Hepburn reflected on life, love, and mortality with philosophical serenity. Despite declining health, hospitalizations, and signs of cognitive deterioration, she maintained a dignified presence and inner strength. She expressed acceptance of death, describing it as like a long sleep, revealing a lifelong commitment to independence, control, and composure. Even as frailty set in, she preserved her privacy, surrounded herself with family, and resisted intrusive medical interventions, choosing comfort and autonomy over invasive treatments. Hepburn's reflections illustrate a woman who lived according to her own principles, valuing self-determination and maintaining intellectual and emotional resilience until the end, embodying the same courage, honesty, and individuality that defined her professional and personal life. Legacy and enduring influence. Katharine Hepburn's legacy extends far beyond her award-winning performances. She redefined femininity, independence, and artistic integrity in Hollywood, demonstrating that success and autonomy could coexist. Her commitment to personal authenticity, both on and off screen, inspired generations of performers to challenge norms and assert creative control. Her rumored private relationships, whether with men or women, reflect a life lived on her own terms, balancing passion, career, and independence. Hepburn's enduring influence is visible in the ongoing admiration for her body of work, her unapologetic strength, and her philosophy of self-determination. Even in death, she remains a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and individuality, proving that true greatness encompasses both professional achievement and the courage to live authentically, regardless of societal expectation.